Plan began to spray, dot and 3 providers dumping chemicals all day. Agent Orange, Agent Blue, Agent White, Agent Green, trend rainbow of apocalypse across the jungle scene. Monsanto went down, made the dioxin tide. Corporations paid the poison, were paid to hide. 20 million gallons over Vietnam in 10 years flat. Forest and the farmland and the water, all of that. Dioxin, most toxic compound humans ever made. One drop in the Olympic pools and cells begin to fade. The enemies were sprayed directly, villages and streams. Defoliant wasn't just for trees, it was for their dreams. Birth defects started showing in hospitals down south. Babies born without a brain, without a limb or mouth. 3 generations later, still chromosomes are wrecked. Chemical design to kill, the chemical collects. Same corporations, same patent, same profit from the spray. Man who made the poison wrote safety reports to say nothing's wrong. Chemical is harmless to the human frame. Never mentioned they were told the chemical was main. Agent Orange in the water, Agent Orange in the womb. Agent Orange in the rice paddy, silent genetic tomb. Monsanto and Dow counting profits by the ton. Children of the spray born without a chance at the sun. War didn't end in 75, war is in the blood. War didn't end with the treaty, war is in the mud. Chemical is still working, chemical never clocks out. American vets came home with cancers they couldn't explain. Soft tissue sarcoma, lymphoma, dioxin in the vein. VA denied for decades that herbicide was the cause. Government that sprayed them narrowed the denial clause. Class action settled 84, 180 mil. But fund ran dry before most vets could ever file. Corporations never paid, government took the bill. Man who manufactured poison kept the profit still. Same corporations, same patent, same profit from the spray. Man who made the poison wrote safety reports to say nothing's wrong. Chemical is harmless to the human frame. Never mentioned they were told the chemical was main. Agent Orange in the water, Agent Orange in the womb. Agent Orange in the rice paddy, silent genetic tomb. Monsanto and Dow counting profits by the ton. Children of the spray born without a chance at the sun. War didn't end in 75, war is in the blood. War didn't end with the treaty, war is in the mud. Chemical is still working, chemical never clocks out. Dioxin half-life in the soil is over 100 years. The enemy still walk poison fields with poison tears. Corporations merged and changed names and moved along. Monsanto became Bayer's problem, poison's never gone. Final corporation, where's problem, poison's never gone. Agent Orange in the water, water is the blood. Agent Orange in the womb, more becomes the mud. Monsanto and Dow, legends never close. Children of the spray are born with poison in their toes. War didn't end in 75, war is in the vein. War didn't end with treaty, treaty is the chain. Chemical is still working, patent still active. Chemical is only thing the corporation proved are a Dave. Monsanto paid the fine and changed the stationary's name. Chemical didn't care about the corporate structural gain. Chemicals in the earth, earth is in the rice. The rice is in the child, and child pays the price. 7 CI launch Phoenix program name counterinsurgency assassination was the game. Code 8,000 Viet Cong targeted for neutralization and wordman capture if lucky mostly men erasure rap. Interrogation sentence tiger cages built for pain. CI watch stuffy enemies take the reign. Names on list from captured docs and paid informants too. Agency coordinating murder with the budget line of view. William Colby ran the show. Quiet man from Langley's halls testified that Congress program followed protocol, but protocol was torture and protocol was death. Protocol was rounding up the suspect on the breath of accusation from a neighbor with grievance or debt. Phoenix agent didn't need a trail, didn't need a vet. List updated, monthly dead were crossed off in red ink. Living were interrogated till they couldn't think. Assassination dressed as program, torture dressed as intent gathering. Never asked who wrote the names or list they kept gathering. Never questioned why body count was mostly farmers in the night. Phoenix was a death squad with government copyright. Phoenix rising from the shadows made of bone. Phoenix flying through the villages alone. Name on the list is a death note with government seals. How you finance the killing with American tax. CIA denied the killing when truth came through the cracks. 40,000 on the ledger never bleeds. Operation Speedy Express 69 become Delta sweep 11,000 Viet Cong claim kill numbers ran so deep. Only 700 weapons captured in the same exchange. Mass said most of the dead were civilians in the range. 9th Infantry Division under General Julian E. Well turned out to in the killing field. No report would tell when journalists questioned ratio of weapons to dead. Army said numbers prove the enemy bled and fled. Assassination dressed as program, torture dressed as intent gathering. Never asked who wrote the names, all list they kept gathering. Never questioned why body count was mostly farmers in the night. Phoenix was a death squad with government copyright. Phoenix rising from the shadows made of bone. Phoenix flying through the villages alone. Name on the list is a death note with government seal. Assassination dressed as program, torture dressed as into gathering. Never asked who wrote the names, all list they kept gathering. Never asked who why body count was mostly farmers in the night. Phoenix was a death squad with government copyright. Minus the killing was the job. CIA denied the killing, denial was the role. 40 nosing on the ledger is the lie. 40 nosing in the ground will never try. William Kobe died in 96, canoeing on the shore. Some say heart attack, some say program settle scores. Phoenix is a blueprint and blueprints in the drawer. Phoenix is the future when the empire asks for more. Rising from the shadow is the state. Phoenix flying through the record is too late. Name on the list is a death note with seal and stamp. Name on the list is a human who will never can. CIA vanished the killing was the job. CIA denied the killing, denial was the rob. 40,000 on the ledger is the lie. 40,000 in the ground will never dry. William Kobe died in 96, canoeing on the shore. Some say heart attack, some say program settle scores. Phoenix is a blueprint and blueprints in the drawer. Phoenix is the future when the empire asks for more. 69, Nixon took off, Kissinger took the wheel. Secret bombing of Cambodia, no Congress appeal. Up menu, breakfast, lunch, dinner, the cold tray. Beef, the twos, dropping payloads, all that no one told. Air Force kept two books, the real and the fake. Fake sent to Congress, what real was on the tape. 14 months of secret war, neutral and to ash. To prince who walked the middle line, caught in the crash. By 70, Nixon took it, public invasion on the ground. Same up, National Guard, shooting students down. Kent State of Cambodia, same week American hand. Empire killing the bar, killing on the homeland. Congress under scope, exposed in 73363. Delvos and sorties over Cambodian C2. 7 million tons of bombs where we weren't fighting more than all World War II. Writing kept writing. Secret bombing, secret books, secret graves. Secret lies on my secret lies. B-Roz never asked a farmer if he knew the reason why. Never asked the Congress off the wise war they paid. Kissinger said real politic, real was charade. Secret war was not a sideshow. Secret was the plan. Secret war, the blueprint for next war in the sand. Cambodia and Laos, bombs fell like judgment rain. Kissinger's Nobel Prize was medal for the pain. Prince who stayed neutral, deposed by CIA. Vacuum filled by Claire Rouge, killing field space. Secret war created Pol Pot. Secret never ends. Laos got it worse per capita than any on earth. 60 million cluster bombs scattered since birth. 80 million unexploded, still in soil and stream. From his father field and field ignites the dream. Plate of jars, ancient stone crater, Bobby 52. CIA ran its airline, Air America flew. Opium moved out, weapons in. Hmong left to die, agents free in private war and never told you why. Secret bombing, secret books, secret graves. Secret lies and my secret lies. B-Roz never asked the farmer if he knew the reason why. Never asked if Congress authorized war they paid. Kissinger said real politic, real was charade. Secret war was not a sideshow. Secret was the plan. Secret war, the blueprint for next war in the sand. Cambodia and Laos, bombs fell like judgment rain. Kissinger's Nobel Prize was medal for the pain. Prince who stayed neutral, deposed by CIA. Vacuum filled by Khmer Rouge, killing field states. Secret war created Pol Pot. Secret never ends. Year 075, Claire Rouge to Phnom Penh. Evacuated cities, empty hospitals in Den Nên. 2 million dead in 4 years, killing field seated Den Nên. Secret war was architect succeeded. Secret war was not sideshow. Secret was the seed. Secret war was blueprint. Every war would bleed. Cambodia and Laos, bombs fell like rain from God. Kissinger's Nobel was laughter of the fraud. movement started small, said he is the driving force. Last board, horror in 62, participatory course. Teachings on the campus, professors, pacifist, Watzishnik, domino, and strategic countless. By 67, draft resistance, coast to coast affair. Pentagon are surrounded by the protest in the air. MLK broke silence at Riverside 67. Government is greatest violence, curvator under heaven. Whether underground went further than the songs. Gaps, bomb capital and Pentagon of enemies wrongs. FBI infiltrated with coin pro design. Black Panther said yes, native movement every kind. This was documented, disrupted and destroyed. Agency that ran the war red protest like a ploy. Fred Hampton murdered in his bed by the Bureau. War abroad and war at home was saying war, no bureau. War fighting overseas was fighting in the streets. Same agencies that ran the bombs ran coin pro. He never asked the student why he faced the God and go. Never asked the Panther why the state was treating him as foe. War at home, the mirror of the war across the sea. War at home, the empire fighting you and me. May 470, Kent State 13 seconds, 60 rounds. Molded Allison, Jeffrey Williams, Sandra on the grounds. Noah Central on the grounds. God fired on children with textbooks in their hands. Saying Wheat Nixon was invading Cambodian lands. War abroad and war at home, we're saying drink a pull. Ellsberg copied 7,000 pages from the Rand. And the cop papers prove they lied from the first plan. Johnson lied, Kennedy lied, Truman lied before bread. History of the war was history of the closed door. Nixon tried to stop the press, Supreme Court said no. Sent the plumbers after Ellsberg, White House was the foe. Liddy and Howard Hunt broke in psychiatry space. Watergate burglars started on the Ellsberg chase. War fighting overseas was fighting in the street. Same agencies that ran the bombs ran coin pro. Heat never asked the student why he faced the guard and go. Never asked the Panther why the state was treating him as foe. War at home, the mirror of the war across the sea. War at home, the empire fighting you and me. May 470, Kent State 13 seconds, 60 rounds. Owned dead Allison, Jeffrey Williams, Sandra on the grounds. Noah Central on the grounds. Guard fired on children with textbooks in their hands. Same week Nixon was invading Cambodian lands. War abroad and war at home was a trigger pull. Show what the grunts already knew. War was a liar, men who sent them knew it too. 20 years of presidential perjury in the file. Truth was always there, buried under miles of denials. War at home, mirror of the war across the sea. War at home, the empire fighting you and me. May 470, Kent State Guard open on the kids. 13 seconds, 16 bullets, country hit the skids. Allison, Jeffrey, Sandra, William on the ground. National Guard killed children, president loaded the round. Nixon called the bombs, men who ordered Cambodia's fall. War abroad and war at home, we're saying war for all. Ellsberg faded 115 years for the truth. Plumbers broke into his doctor's office, that's the proof. Pentagon papers prove the empire was the fraud. War was a lie, the lie was the war, and truth is the road. Paris peace accords finally signed. Kissinger and Leduc, they'll share the Nobel for the blind. Terms were identical to what was offered 4 years before. 20,000 dead Americans, so Nixon settles the score. Ceasefire was a fiction, both sides knew the ink would fade. No for wait 2 years and then complete the crusade. Last American combat troops departed March 7-3. Left the South with weapons, prayers, and CIA debris. March 7-5, the final push, bad me through fell first. Hunted Da Nang, next South's defenses were the worst. A11 soldiers broke and fled, bunch were rivers of retreat. Army that America built collapsed in full defeat. To resign, gave a speech blaming US for the route. Said you promised us the world, then pull the world right out. Last American since Saigon waited at the embassy wall. Helicopter on the roof, photograph that said it all. Helicopter on the roof, photograph that said it all. Helicopter on the roof, empire's last goodbye. Helicopter on the roof, the people left to die. April 30th, 75, tank crashed through the palace gate. War that took 38,000 finished at that date. But war was not finished for the millions left behind. War was not finished for the re-education grind. Helicopter lifted off and the empire shadow stayed. Helicopter on the roof, empire's last goodbye. Helicopter on the roof, the people left to die. April 30th, 75, tank crashed through the palace gate. War that took 38,000 finished at the date. But was not finished for the millions left behind. War was not finished for the re-education grind. Helicopter lifted off and the empire shadow stayed. Both people started fleeing South China Sea became a grave. Hundreds of thousands on the water, pirates in the wave. Re-education camps still with anyone who touched the West. Doctors, teachers, soldiers in the former elite caress. Killing fields of Cambodia reached full diabolic height. 2 million dead in 4 years, the world had seen the night. War America had spread, germinated terror seed. Pol Pot was the bastard child of the empire's greed. Helicopter on the roof, empire's last goodbye. Helicopter on the roof, the people left to die. April 30th, 75, tank crashed through the palace gate. War that took 38,000 finished at the date. But was not finished for the millions left behind. War was not finished for the re-education grind. Helicopter Helicopter on the roof, empire's last goodbye. Helicopter on the roof, empire's last goodbye. Helicopter on the roof, the people left to die. April 30th, 75, tank crashed through the palace gate. War that took 38,000 finished at that date. What was not finished for the millions left behind. What was not finished for the re-education grind. Helicopter lifted off and the empire's shadow stayed. And my industry was born. Flags and the black bands. Myth that live Americans were still in VMH's hands. Rambo films and rescue fantasies. The POW trade war that wouldn't end because the ending couldn't fade. Helicopter on the roof, the empire's last exhale. April 37, 5 tank crashed through the gate. 58,000 names carved into the slate. But war was not finished for the millions left to burn. Helicopter lifted off and shadow never left. Agent Orange children still being born in Vietnam today. Cluster bombs in Laos still exploding in the clay. VA is still denying claims of the poison vets. War is not a memory, the war is a debt. 58,000 on the wall, but wall is not the sum. Helicopter lifted off, a helicopter never lands. War is a shadow in the mirror, the war is the hands.